welcome to Discovering Star Trek. It's Entertainment Talks podcast for Star Trek Discovery on CBS, All Access, and Netflix. I'm your host Matthew, and this is for Season 3, Episode 2, Far From Home. Interesting title, considering that last week was called That Hope Is You, Part 1. I don't know where the second part's supposed to be, but this episode's called Far From Home. And yeah, it's quite a good one. I think that it's good that by the end of the episode, not to jump too far ahead, but I was predicting for a large part of last week's podcast about how they might structure things in the season and how they might pace things, given that we've got all of our crew separated from the one other main lead character, Michael, of course, and then you had the bottle episode focusing on her and is it Brooks, I think his name is. Yeah, so I was kind of curious as to obviously how they were going to structure that and when we would see the crew, and then how many episodes would it be until they meet up. They haven't quite physically met up yet, but Michael is lifting them out from this weird ice stuff. So they're pretty much there. They're probably going to see each other in about 5 minutes or so. Because I think it's Brooks' ship that is Cleveland Booker's, it says here, ship. That's kind of bringing them out from this icy stuff. Other than that, I thought the episode was quite good. It's just kind of good to get back to seeing everybody, to seeing all the main characters, Paul and Hugh and Tilly and I think her name's Jackie or Jack, and then of course whatever's going on with, I think her name's Denver or Dever, the woman with the metal thing on the side of her head. She's got obviously something going on with her in the episode. That was quite interesting. And then obviously they're dealing with this crisis. They've crashed on the ship. They don't know where they've crashed. Sorry, they've crashed on the planet. Their ship has crashed on the planet. They don't quite know where they are. That's kind of intriguing and interesting. The one downside to the episode, now this isn't going to be something that I think affects the season long term. I didn't find, it's got his name listed here as Zareh, so Zara. Didn't find him particularly compelling as a villain. I know he does kill poor old Cal in this episode. Poor old Cal. You sort of felt really sorry for him. Probably one of the saddest red shirt deaths I've kind of seen, because because there's 3 of these guys there, isn't there? And one of them gets given a name, and he's the one that dies, of course. So I guess he's not really a red shirt. He's kind of got a name or whatever, but he's a very small, minor, obviously very temporary character. Just didn't find the villain particularly too interesting. And then of course Philippa Giorgio comes in the episode as well, and then kind of saves the day, so to speak. It's very, very interesting as well, specifically with that, because you've got Saru who is trying to just peacefully negotiate with this guy, and he's not having any of it. He kills Cal. He threatens to, kill Tilly as well, and pretty much to kill Saru himself. And then he wants to send Tilly back to their ship, and then to come back with something. I don't know. Like as soon as Philippa got there, it was sort of done in a way. I know he was kind of killing her or stunning her or doing something to her in the episode. I didn't think that she would die necessarily, and I'm glad that she didn't. But yeah, the tables got sort of really turned from there, and I thought that was kind of an interesting little interaction. I don't mind him being a temporary villain. That's perfectly fine. I think now we're gonna go to a stage where, next week we got the reunion episode where Michael's going to be talking about this entire year that she's been away from the crew. The crew doesn't seem to be really particularly aware of that. They seem to be a little bit sort of shocked, but happy nonetheless to see each other again and to find each other. So if, next week reunion episode, and then you can kind of push on from there and explore the next planet. And she could probably talk about this, the guy that she met up with last week, and kind of, I guess, explore and debate things from there as to what exactly they're going to do. Obviously they're still in the future, so they still got that to sort of sort out and everything. But yeah, it was great to get back to the characters this week. I'm guessing as well that, because a lot of people don't seem to like Tilly, Ensign Tilly, of course, who goes with Saru this week. A lot of people find her very kind of irritating. I can see why people find her very irritating. I know that some people... I mean, she's very chatty, isn't she? But she also... It's part of her nerves and anxiety in a way, because like obviously she gets a bit nervous. She's on this mysterious planet. I mean, who wouldn't be nervous about that, right? I mean, even Saru kind of says to her about it's perfectly fine for you to be nervous, but then once they get closer to this area, it's like, okay, you've had a little bit of time to sort of steady your nerves. Can you please kind of do that now, and then we could sort of get in there. Yeah, I quite like Tilly, actually. She's one of my favourite characters in the show. I don't mind. I think she's not just... I don't think some people realise that she's not just chatty for the sake of it. She very much does do it because it's tied very much into her character. She's not just sort of a needlessly chatty person. And I like her. I think she's really cool. But I'm prepared later, once I finish this episode, this podcast, to go online and see a bunch of hate for her, because it's been that way for 2 seasons. So, but great to see her back nonetheless. Saru's got some tricks up his sleeve I didn't know about. What's with the these little, I don't even know what they are, little technical sort of things? He sort of flips these 2 things around on the side of his head and shoots at this guy. I definitely don't think we've seen him do that before. I know that he had that issue before with Michael when he thought he was dying, and she was going to cut that thing out of his neck or face, and then it kind of fell out, and he realised that like it was a big change to his species or something. So I know he's obviously got some different things going on with his head, I suppose, but no, pretty cool trick. It's just a bit surprising that it's taken just to the start of the 3rd season to actually show that, because I'm very, very certain that we haven't seen that before. I also do kind of wonder, I guess it's part of Saru's character, isn't it? Because you got 3 different sort of personalities in that room with Sarah, or whatever his name is. I can't say that name properly. You got Tilly, who's kind of the nervous one, who's trying to negotiate a little bit. She kind of befriends Cal before he dies. Then you got Philippa Giorgio, who turns up, and she's all confident and badass and just tries to sort of fight her way out of the situation and succeeds. And then you got Saru, who tries to just sort of peacefully negotiate his way. I thought that was actually quite a good balance of personalities in that particular room. I felt like that worked out pretty well. Hey, they won at the end of the day. It's just a shame that we lost Cal. So yeah, but part of me kind of wonders, okay, first of all, how come he hasn't used the, I'm going to call it the stun technique or whatever, towards his enemies? How come he's not used that yet? Has he just not been in this situation? I can't recall too many, because that was when they were like full on fighting each other, and he kind of pulled those things out and did whatever he did. I can't recall too many situations where he's been in that type of situation. So I don't know, maybe it's just a last resort kind of thing for him, because I haven't recalled too many times he's actually carried a phaser or any sort of blaster or anything. Because he's the negotiator, isn't he? He tries to sort of peacefully negotiate, and then he has people like Philippa around him who will shoot her way out of situations. She still tries to talk around certain things, but she very much is an action character, whereas Saru is the negotiator. So thought that was pretty good. Yeah, I do wonder what's going on with I think her name again, Denver or Deva, Commander Deva. I think she's the pilot, I'm pretty sure, because he kept, when Saru was saying like to move the power to thrusters, she was the one actually doing that, so that means that she's the pilot. Also, when I played the Star Trek VR game Bridge Crew, I think it's called. I haven't played it for so long, I've actually almost forgotten the name of it. The pilot is sitting there on the left. The person with the like phasers and stunners is the person sitting on the right. Usually the game might have this wrong, it might not. The engineers and stuff are the ones that are around the sides, and then obviously the captain, Saru, in this situation is in the middle. Yeah, she seems to, I'm guessing it's maybe because whatever it is that she's got attached to her head, I don't remember learning what that is. She gets injured. Well, obviously most of the characters get injured from this crash. It's some sort of concussion effect. Because we didn't really get to see from her perspective what's kind of going on, like a POV type of view. Like, is she seeing something? Is she hearing something? Because whenever we kind of cut to characters talking to her, she seems to just kind of be completely out of focus, and then every now and then go back into focus and do the command that she's sort of told or whatever, such as the flying the ship and stuff. So I'm hoping they kind of explore that a little bit. I'm always interested in that sort of thing, especially on this show when you got obviously the sci-fi element to it. That can always be kind of interesting. So yeah, that's pretty much what I want to say for this first half of the podcast, I guess. Let's get into some housekeeping, and then I will kind of talk about some more Star Trek stuff, so stick around.
Hey there, I'm Aaron Holman, host of Eye to Eye, a weekly podcast talk show all about passion.
I have this passion and this fire within me that burns brighter than the fire around me.
Flow.
With performing, there's always a story to tell, whether it's my own or not.
And creativity.
I go, he's more than cute, he's creative.
All with an LGBT twist. Make sure to check out Eye to Eye, that's EYE, number 2, letter I. And rate and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen in today.
I'm Christy.
And I'm Jackie.
And we are Killer Fun. We explore the intersection of crime and entertainment every other week.
For as long as people have been communicating, they have been talking about who did what to whom, and is that socially acceptable?
Because the boundaries of society,
crime,
and entertainment have always gone hand in hand.
The more salacious,
or weird,
the better. From books and movies
to television shows and games,
we look at how life and art imitate and inform one another.
And we can't get together and not laugh. So let's face it, there's going to be laughing.
Killer Fun is available anywhere you listen to podcasts, so join us.
If you'd like to get started with a domain name and a website today, just click on the link in the show notes and that will take you over to Kualu to get started. They also have a live support chat system that you can use, which is in the bottom right hand corner. So get started with a new website and domain name today with Kualu. Hey everybody, if you would like to get the ad-free versions of all of our podcasts and support Entertainment Talk along the way, all you need to do is head over to patreon.com/entertainment talk. Sign up either as a creator or as a Patreon. There's no difference there. That's just the option for either becoming a creator now or just staying as a patron for the moment. And then all you need to do is support us at the $1 level tier. That will get you access to all of the ad-free podcasts that we've done in the past, and get you access to all the ad-free podcasts in that month as well. So it's a great way to support us on Entertainment Talk and to get rid of the ads and get your ad-free podcasts. You can also become a patron at the $3 level tier. That gets you access to ad-free podcasts and allows you to redeem a review of a TV show or a film of entirely your choice. That's one per month for either a TV show or a film review, which is at the $3 level tier. As always, thank you very much for listening. Back to the show. Alright, recently on Entertainment Talk, what have we got here? Me and Robert performed Entertainment Talk's first ever skit. It's basically like a funny kind of scenario or play sort of thing, and it's made purely for comedy. It's not like a serious drama sort of thing or whatever. Yeah, that's basically what a skit sort of is, and this is called the Hollywood Reboot. We are potentially planning to do more of these depending on feedback and numbers and things like that. So yeah, it was good fun to sort of record that with Robert. I had that idea for quite some time, and just managed to sort of get round to doing it kind of yesterday. So you can listen to that if you want to. The actual skit itself is about a minute long. If you're not too bothered about the sort of post skit conversation, which was about a couple of minutes, you can just listen to the first little part of that. It's about a minute long or so. So you can see me and Robert act that out, I suppose, if you want to. Walking Dead will be on this, still continuing on AMC and Amazon in the UK. Season 1 episode 3 we're up to so far, and we'll be covering season 1 episode 4 next week on Wednesday, so look out for that. If you're watching on Amazon Prime in the UK, that's where you can watch that, and then AMC, of course, in the States. Breaking Bad podcast this week, season 1 episode 7, the season finale, the last one for the season, of course, season 1 episode 7. We are planning to do a feedback podcast. I don't know if it will definitely be next week or the week after, maybe the week after that. It will be, we're not sort of rushing to get to it necessarily, but we are going to do that at some point, so just look out for that in the future as well. So, because we probably won't do season 2 till next year, so there's, yeah, we'll do this season 1 feedback podcast when we can get round to sort of doing that and everything. But that's for Breaking Bad, the Becoming Heisenberg podcast. Gaming Talk this week. We talked about the PS5's UI being revealed. That's basically the PlayStation's menus and features and some other bits and pieces. We know kind of about the games that are coming up, but this was PlayStation's chance to show us a couple of the features, these sort of activity cards that you can use, how you interact with friends, and a bunch of other different stuff as well. 3 games have gone gold recently: Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Godfall, and Spider-Man Miles Morales. So those will all be coming out pretty much within the same time in November, sort of early November-ish, because 2 of them at least are console launch games, so look out for them as well. United cast Manchester United beat Paris Saint-Germain in their opening game of the Champions League campaign for this season, which was very, very good. Late goal from Marcus Rashford, who also recently achieved an MBE award, which isn't to do with football, by the way. That's to do with him helping starving children with poverty and that sort of thing. He's doing a tremendous, fantastic job at the moment, and at 22 years old, that's quite a lot to achieve at that age. So congratulations to Marcus, and hopefully he can keep scoring some goals, which he is doing at the moment. So all good there. Walking Dead UK podcast as well for Fear the Walking Dead Season 6 Episode 2. I'll be back Monday or Tuesday to talk about Season 6 Episode 3, so look out for that when that happens as well. And that's pretty much everything we'll be doing on entertainmenttalk.org and on the podcast platforms. So yeah, overall I really enjoyed this episode. I thought the pacing was pretty good. I thought that not all of the characters that we met I found interesting. I don't really need to see that villain again necessarily. I am kind of wondering, because it hasn't really been revealed yet who the big bad for the season kind of is, because we've had the Klingon before, we've had some other characters as well. I don't need to really see the Klingon again. I think we can move on to maybe somebody else. But yeah, we'll see what happens next episode once everybody kind of meets up again. I'm sure they'll have some discussions about things. Michael can tell them about this new person that she met, and this Brooks person and everything. And yeah, there is actually 2 ships now, isn't there? So they'll have to decide which one they're going to go on to. I don't know. We'll see how all that works out. I'm sure they're not going to abandon the Discovery or anything crazy like that. They just fixed it as well. So that was pretty good. But yeah, really, really nice end to the episode. You know, they're struggling to get out of this icy plague kind of thing. And then they're kind of getting, because I do like the way that they filmed that as well, because you can see an outside perspective of like the actual damage that's happening, and then of course you get the in the ship kind of view of Denver or Deva. She's kind of struggling with whatever's going on. She's trying to take commands from Saru. They're trying to work out who's pulling them and why and how they're going to get out of this thing, and adjusting different power levels and adjusting powers to thrusters and how they're going to get out of that. And then you cut back and forth between the actual damage that's being done to the ship. I thought that was paced really quite well, so quite enjoyed that. That was quite good. And then pretty much sort of straight away I did kind of guess, like, okay, because you're kind of wondering, like, okay, who's pulling the ship, and sort of doing everything to it. And then once I kind of for some reason, once that blue light came down, like a UFO style blue light came down, my mind immediately just went to Michael. I was like, is that Michael in the ship with James Brooks, whatever his name is, pulling them up? And then you saw her come up on the message thing, the hail message I think it's called, to the captain, and then she pops up. Really, really nice ending to the episode. A little bit emotional. I didn't cry or anything necessarily, but it was it was an emotional, happy sort of moment. I thought that was good. They get reunited. See, the interesting part to me time-wise is, because Michael says she's been away for a year. The crew seem a little bit surprised by that. I don't think that they mentioned, either in this episode or somewhere else, how long they think it's been. Do they only think it's been like a few days or something? But maybe I potentially missed that somewhere. But yeah, I kind of wonder. Again, they'll probably have a conversation about it next episode and discuss everything that's kind of been going on. But yeah, that'll be interesting time-wise to see what each of them think has kind of happened, and all that. That might be quite interesting, and to see if this mysterious concussion attack, whatever's happened to Commander Deva. So we shall see. Yeah, lots of interesting stuff set up for the next couple of episodes. Of course, they got to kind of build something else for the episodes after that, but we'll see what they kind of come up with and everything. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this episode. It's kind of been a little bit tricky for me in a way, because there's two shows. Again, I'm not going to say which is the other one because it will kind of spoil the episode, but this show and one other show that recently came back, both kind of had bottle episodes for their openings for the season, and I was like, okay, well, the bottle episodes sometimes there's not too much to talk about necessarily, so I'm glad that the show's kind of kicking on a bit. There's more than like 4 characters on screen, I suppose, so that's good. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. I really enjoyed this episode, but what did you think of this episode? How much time do you think has passed for the main crew? What do you think is going on with Commander Deva, the pilot of the ship? What do you think of the villain that we saw in this episode? Do you think he'll stick around? Do you feel sorry for Cal? Because I certainly do. It would have been cool if he kind of stuck around. You know, maybe he could have built a good friendship with Tilly or something else. I don't know. But that of course won't happen now. So let me know what you think of the episode and everything that I've said. Matthew at entertainmenttalk.org, Twitter eTalkUK. There's a contact page and information in your show notes. And we shall kick on with episode 3 next week, 303, which will be kind of cool. But thank you all very much for listening. You can find everything else that we do on entertainmenttalk.org. If you want to support the podcast and Entertainment Talk, we're on Patreon. You can check out the $1 and $3 level tiers for instant ad-free podcast and review options. Amazon affiliate link. If you're shopping on Amazon, we can get a small cut of what you spend, but it won't cost you extra. iTunes feeds if you search for Entertainment Talk on your favourite podcast platform. And if we're not on your favourite podcast platform by searching for Entertainment Talk, please let us know and we shall look into whichever podcast platform that is. But you can search for Entertainment Talk. You can either subscribe to the individual feeds or the main Entertainment Talk feed, entirely up to you, but please remember to rate, review and subscribe. You can also find Geektown on iTunes and podcast services. For your up-to-date reliable TV and film news, Geektown Radio on Tuesdays, and you could of course head over to geektown.co.uk for all your up-to-date reliable TV and film news run by David, so check all that out. Bex is streaming daily at the moment over on Twitch. If you check her out on there, Trista Bytes, Trista Bytes, go and follow her, subscribe to her, check out all that fun stuff over there. Word of mouth, you can simply tell people that you know about all of our contents, Entertainment Talk and Geektown and Trista Bytes. Social media, you can do the same thing but with Facebook, Twitter and different Facebook groups if you can, and that will be really great and really helpful as well. Spread the word and help Entertainment Talk to grow. That would be great as well. And also you can look out for Let's Play Sundays episodes on Sundays. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.